Hey everyone, welcome to Daily Revelations. Thanks for joining me. So, what about looking down? What's so bad about that? Well, when we look down, we become fearful. And I'm just going to relate this to my workouts. I go to aerial silks class, and so many people are so afraid to get up in height because they focus too much on the fear of what could happen by looking down instead of looking up. And this relates so much to how God tells us not to live our lives here in this world as well. And this is what I mean. We can hold on, and we can only hold on for so long. And our grip starts to fail us. So what do we do in those times? Do we look down and say, oh my goodness, and start processing everything through our heads that could happen when we fall? That's going to make you fall. There's actually scientific evidence that says the more you think about something, the more likely you are to do it. Whether you're thinking, I don't want to do that, or I do want to do that. So the key is, because the way God has wired our brains is to focus on what we do want to have instead of what we don't. And what I'm talking about is the difference between looking up in hope or down in despair. Because those are the two directions we can go when we're faced with a situation. So, what do we choose? Well, God says to choose hope. And this is what he bases it on. So I was in a variety of different scriptures. So I'm going to pull that out and just talk you through the process that I was taken through this morning with God. So in Deuteronomy 33, it's the end of Moses' life. And Moses is standing on the hill and God is showing him the promised land. And this is what he says. I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now understand, these forefathers of Moses lived long, long ago. I promised them that I will give this land to your descendants. They never saw it, but they held on. They held on to that hope, and they passed that hope on to the next generations so that they could receive that land. God, and I wrote this down, God has a history of always keeping his word. He has character, and he is always faithful. So why don't we hold on to that? Why? Because we don't look to it. We don't look to that hope. We look to the despair and the fear instead. And that's where we mess up. It's because we give in to that. And it causes us to panic. And when we panic, we don't think. Not at all. When we start to lose our grip, we are going to. We aren't strong enough on our own. But just as I've learned in my aerial silks class, is when my hands can't hold any longer, I put myself into a resting position. And I rest, and I allow my hands to rest. And God works in the same way. He trains us how to rest when we're not in those places of craziness and our mental incapacity to focus. But the reason that he calls us to rest in those quieter times is so that we are used to those places of rest, that we know how to get into those places of rest instead of panicking and being fearful and falling. So the key is to just be trained and know this is what I need to do when my grip starts to fail. I put myself into a position where I can rest in God for a while. And I look up. I don't look down. Romans 8:25 says this, but if we hope for what we do not see, with perseverance, we will wait eagerly for it. Our perseverance hinges on our hope, our willingness to put ourselves in that place of rest while looking up, not giving into the despair that's going to cause us to look down and fall. Also, Psalm 27 says this, I would have despaired unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord. Be strong. We are strong, but sometimes our muscles just need a break, and our faith needs to just rest. And that's when God says, I will take care of what's going on. You just stay right here. Look up to me. Look up. Hope. Don't despair. You're not going to fall if you just rest and allow me to re-strengthen you. Let your heart take courage. We do. That takes a lot of courage to look in the opposite direction that our heart wants to go. We want to turn to all the things and the ways that we can handle it. But God is faithful. So, yes, wait on the Lord. Yes, look up. Look up and wait on Him. He has hope for everything. We just have to trust in that. And that's the hard part, because we won't see it. It's beyond our field of vision. But God's presence will be with you, and you will know. So get your grip on tight. Be working on that, but also be working on resting as well. Both of them are critical that we have and that we know well inside and out to be able to hold on for the long run and to be able to trust in God for all the promises He has in our lives. So don't look down, look up. Hope you have an awesome day. Thanks for joining me on Daily Revelations, and I'll see you again next time. Bye, everybody.